Hey everyone, hello. And I've posted on this Hey everyone, hello, welcome back. I'm posting on this channel after a fairly long time, and that's because I've been traveling a lot and there is a lot of pending work that I need to complete, and I haven't been able to do that. So I do feel a bit guilty about not having done things, but at the same time I've been very lucky. So in very quick successions, I went to Varanasi, and I met Shiv there. Then I went to Vrindavan and I met Radha Krishna there. And then in the beginning of this year, I was in Kolkata in Kalighat and Dakshineswar, and I met Kali there. And I'm still getting goosebumps talking about it. I'm just getting goosebumps here. It's a very weird place to have goosebumps too. But yeah, it was a very interesting and unique experience. And I'll be honest, it changed everything about me, it changed everything within me. And maybe I haven't really come fully to terms with whatever has happened, but it has happened. I know something has changed. And I know that everything from now on will have to focus extensively on me and my real life goals and not what I want to do, you know. So that's very critical, that's very important. And this has been one of the reasons why I could not post very frequently, but now I will. So, first of all, a very happy new year to all of you. And I hope this new year brings a lot of great things your way. This year is going to be dominated by Jupiter predominantly because this year started on a Thursday. So, if it started on a Thursday, it will be ruled by Jupiter, which means this is a year of creating abundance out of nothing, literally, out of nothing. If you really want to start new things in your life, if you want to start afresh, this was going to be a great year to do that. And as soon as Jupiter enters Cancer later in the year, that would be your time to fructify everything. So if you wanted to get married, right time, go ahead, get married. If you wanted to have children, right time, go ahead and think about having children. If you wanted to turn your life around, make something out of it, go ahead and do that. This is the right time for making things happen. And the most interesting part is this year begins with four planets conjunct in Capricorn, right? So starting 13th of January, we'll see Venus, we'll see Mars, Sun, and Mercury all placed together in the sign of Capricorn. So this four planet conjunction, this Chatushgrahi Yoga, will actually help us out in deciding exactly what we want in life. It would help us out in figuring out that, okay, this is where I want to go, this is my goal, and this is the path I'm going to follow for the next 10 years, 20 years in order to achieve that. The only caveat here is your goals cannot be very short term, they have to be long term goals. So maybe I want to be a millionaire. All right, I can't be a millionaire tomorrow. I'll have to work hard for it, right? I'll have to ensure I don't have a lot of debt that I cannot manage. I'll have to maybe, have new sources of earning. I'll have to manage my finances better. So all these things will have to be done for a long, long period of time. And that's how, our goals will become auspicious for us. So overall, I think it's a good thing. And overall, I also believe that regardless of whatever happens during the year, regardless of however the world is going wrong on a large scale, individually, if we are strong enough, if we are aware enough, we will certainly be able to make a good life for ourselves. And at least I am trying to do that. And as we are connected to each other, I hope that you would be able to do that as well. Right? So today we're discussing something really interesting, and that is geopolitics and astrology. So in astrology, we have this really bad habit of trying to define what's going to happen in the future, or we try to see everything in retrospect and then suggest, oh, this happened because of this happened because of that. Both are really bad habits, and we must try to avoid that. Astrology, I don't think, was ever designed to tell you that a particular president of a particular nation is going to do exactly this on this exact date or this exact time. And I feel really weird because I recently came across somebody and they said, hey, do you know this astrologer? I don't know who they are because I don't listen to astrologers. There is no astrologer on my feed. So they said, did you listen to this astrologer? I said, no, I don't even know who they are. And they're like, she was able to predict with supreme accuracy that an airplane crash is going to happen. And I was like, wow. So there are thousands of flights in India itself, let alone the world. And she was able to pinpoint with great accuracy that on this day, at this time, plane is going to crash. How is that possible? And then they say, I don't know how that is possible, but then she's very good. I was like, okay. And what else? Oh, and she was also able to predict that on this particular day, some incident is going to happen. And I said, okay. So she was able to predict that out of this huge landmass called India, this particular incident is going to happen at this particular place on this particular day at this particular time. How does that work out? So, we have this habit of trying to suggest to people that we somehow know the future or we know the past and we know everything about it. And this is wrong, completely wrong. That's not how things function. And this is a way in which many astrologers, especially in India, try to project some sort of godliness, which I am totally against. Anyway, we were talking about geopolitics and astrology. So now you must know that geopolitics can certainly be considered um, under astrology. We can certainly talk about them. Now, I will not go to such an extent to tell you that I know everything about what's going to happen and who's going to fight and what world war we are going to have next and when and blah blah blah. I don't think that is a subject of astrology. That should be left best to historians and to politicians, and even they don't know what they are doing. Even they can't predict very well. So I don't think astrologers should get into that territory, especially since we know nothing about politics, right? You'll have to spend a lifetime to learn politics and another lifetime to learn astrology. So if you're born with great sense of astrology and great sense of politics, you must have done really good things in your past lives. Otherwise, it's not happening. Anyway, geopolitics, when you really want to work at it and when you really want to look at it, you need to see exactly which places were affected by an eclipse. Okay. Now, we will always see an eclipse twice a year. So, there are two eclipse seasons basically. We'll have two eclipse somewhere in the beginning of the year in the first half, and two eclipse somewhere in the towards the end of the year. Now, what you need to do is figure out where exactly is the eclipse visible. So let's assume that a solar eclipse, and focus predominantly on the solar eclipse. If the solar eclipse is visible in Venezuela, right, and the entirety of Venezuela could see the eclipse, and it had the strongest, umbra of that eclipse, or it could see the ring of fire, we know that things may happen in Venezuela. Now, will that be a political uprising? Will something happen to the existing political structure? Will things go great or bad? That cannot be pinpointed to such a huge extent. Okay, we cannot really do that. We can only say that something may happen, something prominent may happen, and because of that prominence, these could be the possible results. But we can't say that, oh, Maduro is going to go through this, or oh, Trump is going to go through that. That's not the ideal thing to do, right? That's just wrong. So we notice this, and I frequently tell my students to follow the path of the eclipse. In India, in the northeastern part of India, that there was an eclipse in the northeastern part of India, visible only there. That was a lunar eclipse, visible only there. And that's when this particular state was going through a lot of issues. And they had a huge problem, for the next 1 year. So when you follow the path of eclipses, you'll be able to pinpoint that these nations are going through problems and these nations are not going to go through problems, or these nations will become even more important to the geopolitical structure or in the geopolitical table as compared to others. Then you'll have to figure out whether it was a true eclipse or a regular eclipse. Now, as we know, eclipses happen very regularly, so you can easily have 4 eclipses in a year, which means 2 eclipse seasons. But we have to focus only on true eclipses. Now, true eclipses would be a total lunar and a total solar eclipse, right? So, the total eclipses are what we are looking at. You follow the path of the total eclipses and you'll be able to figure out where things may happen. Then, what exactly may happen? That depends on the Rashi, the Nakshatra, the Pada, and the degree at which things are happening. So, if I know the eclipses are happening in Aquarius, and if it is happening particularly, let's assume, in Dhanishta or in Shatabishak or in Purvabhadra, I'll be able to figure out that, okay, this time the people would want and demand a lot more from the government. This time, the people are sick and tired of their government and they are up in arms. They want to do an uprising. Oh, this time the people really want to, burn the entire system and do something new and completely fresh. So that's how you'll be able to figure out. Now, the third thing you do is figure out which planets exactly are stuck in that eclipse energy. So it is possible that apart from Rahu Ketu and Sun and Moon, Mercury or Venus or Mars or Saturn, they are a part of the whole eclipse energy. When that happens, you see bigger changes, stronger changes in a particular direction. So, if you really want to figure out how geopolitics is going to go, check out every eclipse. Now, this time the eclipses are going to happen in March next. Check out those eclipses, figure out if they are total eclipses or true eclipses, and then you figure out exactly where the umbra is falling or exactly where the eclipse is visible. When it is visible, in whichever place it is visible, you know geopolitical changes are upcoming. And remember, it will never happen immediately. So don't you say that, oh, India saw an eclipse and it was in April 2024. So now something is going to happen in India instantly. Not really. Eclipse energies can actually easily work out for the next 1 year as well, especially when we're talking about the solar eclipses. A solar eclipse may leave a very strong mark for the upcoming 1 year. And a lunar eclipse can actually leave a very strong mark for the upcoming 6 to 8 months, right? So don't expect things to happen immediately. When things line up, only then those eclipse energies will start to come on the surface. So here is what will happen. The eclipse energies will skew our perception in a certain way. That would take a little time to develop. And once developed, and once there is a particular planetary position that allows for that development to come on the surface, it will. And right now, things are going a bit topsy turvy, and here is the strong reason behind this. You must know that every planet has a different timeline which it uses to go across the Bhava Chakra or across the Kundlis, right? So, a planet like Jupiter will take 12 years to complete one circle of the zodiac. That is from 0 degree Aries to 0 degree Aries, right? A planet like Sun will just take 1 year. A planet like Moon will just take 1 month. But a planet like Saturn takes close to 3 decades to complete one circle of the zodiac. And right now, Saturn is in Pisces, which means Saturn is in the very last leg of completing another circle across the zodiac. Now, this happened in 2025 March, and this will continue for the next almost 2 years because it's going to end in 2027. So, what's going to happen next is all the things that started 30 years ago when Saturn was in Pisces last, they are coming to their rightful conclusion. Okay? They are coming to their rightful conclusion. So, everywhere you're seeing problems, you may notice the problems beginning 30 years ago. So, where are you seeing problems right now? Are you seeing problems in a particular part of the world? All right. Did this particular part of the world start having problems 30 years ago? And are all current problems rooted in some events 30 years ago? Yes, 100%. Now you take that and you know that all these things are going to come to their rightful conclusion. So, when things come to their rightful conclusion with Saturn and Pisces, where are we going to see the most intense of the results? That's going to happen wherever an eclipse took place. So, if an eclipse took place in Venezuela, we know that something that started 30 years ago is going to reach an intense yet rightful conclusion now. And this is going to continue till Saturn is in Pisces. And then when Saturn goes into Aries, a new era will begin. Well, I'll be honest, a new era has actually already begun. And with this year, You have to decide where exactly you want to go, what is a goal that you really want to achieve. And now you have to use every inch of your body, every last cell, every last drop of your entire being to making it happen. If you do that, you'll be successful, you'll have a good life. If not, God bless you, because you will not get any more chances, right? And you'll have to wait for very, very long. Don't make that mistake. Don't you ever do that. Always do good, always do well, and life is going to treat you very nicely and very kindly. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll meet you next time, and we'll talk about something more interesting, right? Bye. Take care.